This is a story called The Little Monsters, Chapter 100. The kids go on a pub crawl and get caught red-handed by their parents. The gang are at school and Kicker asks them, "What are we going to do this weekend, guys?" "I don't know," answered Creeper. Then Stumpy said, "Hey guys, I have an idea." "Yeah, let's stuff our faces all weekend," said Stampy. Everyone laughed and then Stumpy said, "I wasn't going to say that, Stampy, but it's not a bad idea." "What were you going to say, Stumpy?" asked Creeper. "Well, remember that time when we went on that pub crawl and took booze from behind the bar and drank everyone's drinks? Well, I think we should do that again, but instead of doing it for just one night, we should do it all weekend," answered Stumpy. "I think that's a brilliant idea. We can tell our parents that one of us is having a sleepover. I can tell my parents that Kicker's having a sleepover, and so can the rest of you. Kicker can tell our parents that one of us is having a sleepover, but instead we can stay at the hideout," said Grumpy. "I think that's a brilliant idea," said Bumpy. Then the school bell went for everyone to go inside. That day was a Tuesday, giving the kids plenty of time to plan their pub crawl. That night when they went home, they didn't say anything about the pub and about the sleepover and, of course, the pub crawl to their parents. On the Friday, the gang told their parents that Kicker was having a sleepover. Kicker told their parents that Creeper was having a sleepover. Then they had their tea, did their homework, met at the swing, and then went to the hideout. When they got there, they changed their clothes, made their beds ready for when they got back, and then they went to the first pub. When they got there, it was heaving, so they went in and started drinking everybody's drinks. They stayed there for about 2 hours. Before they left, Kicker noticed that the cellar door was open, and she said to the others, "Hey guys, look, the cellar door's wide open. Let's go down and take some booze and we can leave through the door where deliveries are brought up." Everyone laughed, sneaked into the cellar, took some booze and then left and went on to the next pub. When they got to the next pub, they sneaked behind the bar when no one was looking and helped themselves to alcoholic drinks as well as drinking everyone else's in the pub. After a while, they decided to go to the next pub. When they got there, Bumpy spotted her sister and she told the others and they all decided to go to the next pub. When they got there was a 21st birthday party and everyone was dancing, singing and enjoying themselves. The kids took advantage of this and they sneaked in and went round drinking as many drinks as they could. When the bar staff were too busy to notice, they went behind the bar and took loads of booze. Then they saw the cellarman come up from the cellar with crates of beer, and when he wasn't looking, they took as much as they could. Then Creeper spotted her older brother there. She told the others and then they went on to the next pub. When they got there was a hen party and the staff were incredibly busy, so the kids sneaked in and helped themselves to drinks from behind the bar and to other people's drinks. Then they took some more booze. They stayed there for about 2.5 hours and then they went behind the bar and emptied 3 crates of lager into their backpacks. They also took some bottles of whiskey, wine, gin and Baileys. Then they decided to go back to the hideout for the night. When they got there, they continued to drink until about 3 a.m. and then they all went went to sleep. The following day they all went home and told their parents that Bumpy was having a sleepover. Bumpy didn't need to tell her parents anything because they weren't going to be there that night. They were going to a wedding and they were staying in a hotel overnight and they weren't going to be back until the next day. That night they all went out on a pub crawl again and did the exact same thing as the night before. This time though they went to different pubs. They went in one pub and almost got caught by a member of staff helping themselves to drinks from behind the bar, which they thought was hilarious. They stayed there for a while and then they moved on to the next pub. However, when they got there, Bumpy's older sister Emma was there. As soon as she saw them, she rang her parents, but Kicker saw her and told the others. They took some booze and then ran as fast as they could to the next pub, not realising that Bumpy's parents were now aware of what they were up to. They got in touch with all the other parents to let them know what the kids were up to. However, they searched everywhere for the kids, but there was no sign of them anywhere. Then Bumpy's mum spotted them, but they disappeared into a crowd before her and Bumpy's dad, Chris, could get to them. Then Chris saw them going to a pub, so he parked the car and both him and Sarah followed them in. However, Grumpy saw them and he told the others. They ran out of the pub as fast as they could, caught the bus and went into town, not realising that all their parents were now following them everywhere they went. When they went into the first pub in town, the staff caught them drinking other people's drinks and kicked them out. Before they could go any further, their parents sneaked up on them, grabbed them, and Kicker's dad, Charles, said, "Just where do you kids think you're going? Get in the car now, all of you." They were all taken back to Kicker's house, and when they got there, all their parents dragged them inside and made them sit down. Then Kicker's dad said, "Just what on earth were you kids thinking? Have you any idea how much trouble you could have got in if you'd been caught drinking and the police had been called? Well, do you?" "Oh, shut up, Dad, and mind your own business. We can do as we please," said Kicker. "Who do you think you're talking to, young lady?" "I'm talking to you, Dad, that's who," answered Kicker. Then Bumpy's dad said to her, "What about you, Bumpy? What do you have to say for yourself?" "Oh, shut up, Dad, it's got nothing to do with you, what I do. I'm old enough to do what I want, when I want, we all are," answered Bumpy. Then Stumpy's dad said to him, "Do you have anything to say, Stumpy?" "I agree with the girls, Dad," answered Stumpy. Then Kicker's dad said, "I suppose you all feel the same way?" "Yes, Dad, we do," answered Kicker. Then their parents grabbed them, smacked them hard on their bums, took them home and sent them to bed. The next day when they got up, they were all smacked hard on their bums again, grounded indefinitely, told not to leave the house and sent to their rooms. As soon as they got there, they climbed out of their bedroom windows and met at the hideout. They stayed there all day until about an hour before their parents were due from work. They stayed there all day until about an hour before their parents were due home from work. Then they went home and climbed back in through their bedroom windows. They had their tea and then they were told to go to their rooms and stay there. Of course they didn't take any notice, because as soon as they got to their rooms, they climbed out of their bedroom windows, met at the hideout and stayed there overnight drinking and playing games. As far as their parents were concerned, they were in their rooms and they had no idea that they were out, as they'd put stuff in their beds to make it look like it was them. End of chapter 100. Hope you like it, guys. Thanks for watching. See ya.